Hey, family. Another day to get better. Another day on the right side of the dirt. That's a good start. I'm continuing my videos on anxiety. This one is coping with anxiety and worry. And I'm just going to dive right into the video here. Okie dokie. So, hope you guys have been implementing some of this. Hopefully, you learned something. Hopefully, it's helping you. All right, so coping with anxiety and worry. This is by Ed Beckham Ph.D. and Cecilia Beckham L.C.S.W. B.C.D. A personal guide to coping. It's that tense, frightening feeling that people get when they feel threatened. Sometimes it is described as being scared, nervous, jittery, or uneasy. Almost everyone has had this emotion at times, although it is given many different names. It is a feeling which makes people want to get away or get out of a situation. Anxiety will occur at some point in everyone's life and be at least a minor problem. The brain is programmed to feel anxious in certain circumstances, such as being at extreme heights or around wild animals. Thus, anxiety can be a helpful emotion in situations where there is danger. The body is preparing for a threat and marshaling its resources to respond. The problem in anxiety disorders is that there is usually no real danger. Healthy anxiety helps persons be prepared for threatening situations, while excessive, unhealthy anxiety is being triggered when there is really no need. Anxiety can be caused biologically or psychologically. On a psychological level, it can be brought about by the perception that something dangerous is about to happen. On a physical level, there are areas of the brain which are responsible for translating perceptions of danger into anxiety. If genetic or biological flaws cause heightened activity in these areas of the brain, then there can be strong levels of anxiety even without danger being present. There are a variety of types of anxiety as well as diagnoses for anxiety. This handout deals with what might be called general or garden variety anxiety. In technical terms, this is usually referred to as either adjustment disorder with anxious mood or generalized anxiety disorder. Sometimes anxiety is clearly attached to one particular situation, as in an adjustment disorder. Other times it is not. It may be free-floating or attached to a variety of problems, as in generalized anxiety disorder. Persons with general anxiety disorder feel out of control and overwhelmed by their worries. Their minds tend to dwell on many different potential difficulties. General anxiety disorder is more than just a feeling. It also involves a variety of other symptoms, some of which are more mental and psychological, and others of which are more physical. There is no clear division between brain, mind, and body in anxiety. In addition to worry, persons with generalized anxiety disorder tend to have difficulty concentrating and problems with irritability. Examples of physical symptoms of anxiety include being restless or keyed up, fatigue, muscle tension or aches, and difficulty sleeping. Adjustment disorder with anxious mood is defined as occurring when there is anxiety in response to an identifiable stressor that has occurred in the last 3 months. The anxiety has to be either in excess of what would normally be expected, or there has to be significant impairment arising from it, such as at home, socially, at work, or at school. This handout will deal with generalized anxiety disorder and adjustment disorder with anxious mood. Other handouts deal with panic disorder, which are acute attacks of acute anxiety, phobic disorder, avoidance of specific situations, obsessive compulsive disorder, the compulsion to repeat certain actions over and over to prevent anxiety, and post-traumatic stress disorder, which is anxiety symptoms which persist long after a major or life-threatening trauma. Did you know more than 23 million people have some type of anxiety disorder in any particular year? Over the course of a lifetime, 1 out of 4 persons in the United States will have an anxiety disorder. 3 to 4% of the persons in the U.S. have generalized anxiety disorder. It is estimated that the direct costs, such as treatment, and indirect costs, such as missed days of work, for all forms of anxiety to our society may reach $46 billion per year. The majority of people with anxiety disorders never seek treatment. Anxiety and depression often occur together. When they do occur together, the anxiety usually comes first. Understanding anxiety. There are several important things to understand about anxiety, including the nature of the problem and how it affects the body, how it affects a person's ability to perform, actions that will help one cope with anxiety. Some persons experience a sense of shame regarding their anxiety. A first step in overcoming this problem, any sense of guilt or inadequacy stemming from it. A first step in overcoming this problem, any sense of guilt or inadequacy stemming from it. Persons with anxiety often feel that they are weak or defective and may treat it like a secret which must be hidden in a closet. Anxiety is a normal bodily reaction which has become exaggerated. When a person feels ashamed of such feelings, it creates a problem on top of a problem. Shame blocks the ability of persons to view the anxiety problem clearly and to deal with it as they would deal with any other difficulty. So feeling ashamed of anxiety. All right, so to understand the nature of anxiety, it is helpful to think about how a person in the Stone Age, the caveman, would have responded to the world around him. His world would have been fairly dangerous, even more so than the one we live in today. His world would have been fairly dangerous, even more so than the one we live in today. Threats from wild animals would be very real. There would also be threats from natural disasters and other men. There would be very little protection except what he could provide for himself. In this situation, when in danger, his body would need some way of mobilizing its resources very quickly for fight or flight. the person would not have the time to think. Let's see, there's a saber-toothed tiger over there. I need to tense my muscles up so that I can be ready to run or fight. The body would have to become mobilized for action almost instantaneously. This will and still is accomplished through the sympathetic part of the autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is the part of the nervous system over which persons have no control. It governs such bodily processes as heart rate, breathing, and digestion. The sympathetic part of the autonomic nervous system is designed to gear up the body for fight or flight by pumping adrenaline into the blood system. This mobilization response can literally save the person's life in times of emergency with increased heart action, faster breathing, increased muscle tension, and increased blood pressure. The pupils dilate so that objects can be seen better in the dark. The blood in our body is channeled away from the surface of the skin and is shunted toward deeper muscle tissue where it is needed for movement. Blood is channeled away from the surface of the skin down into the muscle, causing colder feet and hands. Understand your fight or flight response. Cardiovascular effects as rapid beating of the heart, rapid breathing, increase in perspiration, increase in muscle tone, decrease in digestion, decrease in salivation, widening of pupils, cognitive, which is the thinking patterns, the ability to think, / perceptual, searching for danger, cognitive / perceptual, searching for danger, drive to escape, in parentheses, I've got to get out of here feeling, so a drive to escape feeling. While the fight or flight response helped humans survive all those years, in a modern situation, this response can actually get in the way. People don't always benefit from a fight or flight response. The dangers that we face today are often more psychological, social, or financial rather than fight or flight response. They are better prepared for by action of a different sort. Imagine, for example, sitting behind your desk when the boss walks in. He informs you that there are going to be major layoffs in the company and that you are going to be one of the persons laid off. You may feel some immediate anxiety. Perhaps your heart starts pumping blood more quickly. Your respiration and breathing might increase. If you are of the angry, volatile sort, you might even want to walk around your desk and try to physically intimidate your boss. We don't recommend this. None of these bodily responses would be useful in that situation, although they were adaptive for early humans. There are some situations where the fight or flight response can still be helpful, however. Imagine that you are walking down a dark street. A mugger or someone who appears menacing begins to move towards you. Now your fight or flight responses are very healthy and adaptive. Your body is quickly mobilized to run away or turn and fight. In this situation, the anxiety you are experiencing is directly related to a very healthy response within your body. The anxiety is a signal that you need to do something. It helps motivate the mind and body for immediate action. Now it says, read at your own risk, ! Technical information in the next paragraph. What's that mean? Understanding what is going on in your body. During stress, a chain reaction of physical and chemical processes prepares the body for a fight or flight situation. After the logical, thinking part of the brain, recognizes a danger is present, another part of the brain, the hypothalamus, releases corticotrophic hormone releasing factor, CRF. This in turn stimulates the pituitary, the master gland, to release adrenocorticotropic, which is probably like adrenaline, hormone, ACTH. The release of ACTH triggers the secretion of cortisol from the adrenal cortex. The adrenals are located in the kidneys to provide energy and to help suppress inflammation through a neural pathway that is via a nerve rather than chemical release in the bloodstream. The adrenals are also stimulated to produce more chemicals called catecholamines, adrenaline, and noradrenaline. These in turn serve to accelerate the pulse rate, elevate blood pressure, and stimulate the central nervous system. Noradrenaline constricts the peripheral blood vessels and inhibits gastrointestinal activity. The net effect of the catecholamines is increased blood pressure and blood flow to skeletal muscles as the body prepares for fight or flight. Woo! That was technical. So, why is all this important? The only reason this is mentioned here is because it can help you understand that you are just being human when anxiety and physical symptoms start to occur. There are straightforward reasons for all the different types of anxiety symptoms. Another reason why it is important to understand the physical nature of anxiety is that, unfortunately, friends, family, and even counselors or physicians have a way of telling individuals with psychological disorders that their problems are in their minds. Nothing could be further from the truth, at least with anxiety. Anxiety is all in the mind, the brain, the body, the nerve cells, the bloodstream, and many other places in the body as well. There is also growing evidence that a tendency towards excessive anxiety and physical and emotional reactivity may develop in the body as a result of repeated trauma in childhood. Okay? Remember what I was saying in my previous videos, how we kind of get our mental programming and our coping skills and all that from a very young age, after 1 year old up until we turn 8 or so. I'm not sure the exact ages and that, but that's because our conscious mind or our thinking mind isn't even developed yet, and everything is accepted. All information, all situations, imagined or real, are accepted by the subconscious mind as being real. And yeah, that's where where did it just say there? There is also growing evidence that a tendency towards excessive anxiety and physical and emotional reactivity may develop in the body as a result of repeated trauma in childhood. Repeatedly being pulled out of your home and put into foster homes. Repeatedly having the police at your house for domestic violence, domestic disputes, arresting your family members for criminal activity, stuff like that. I'm going to highlight that part because that's one thing that I've been saying in my. So that's excessive anxiety and physical and emotional reactivity. So emotional reactivity is getting an understanding of our emotions there, but this tendency to overreact with fear is not a decision on the person's part. Instead, it is a resultant effect of overwhelming stress in childhood, which is encoded in some fashion in their brain. All right, man, that's probably enough for today. The next part of this coping with anxiety and worry is thinking process change in anxiety too. But thanks for watching. Keep coming back. I got plenty of videos here on this, and it'll all come together. And hopefully you learn something and learn some ways to cope with anxiety and learn what exactly it is. Because anxiety, if not handled properly, can lead to behaviors that are not beneficial for us. All right, keep pushing forward. Never give up. Just because we lived a certain way our entire life does not mean we have to keep living that way. Keep coming back. See you guys in the next video. Thanks.